What's up, guys? It's Corey here with Good Evening Tech, and today we are going over strings in JavaScript. So this is going to be a short little tutorial just showing you exactly, hey, what a string is. So if you're new to my channel, I'm just here to put out information and how I learned JavaScript, and I hope it helps you. So first thing we're going to do is just show you what a string is. So we're going to name this hello world. That's our variable, and in here it can be single, it can be double. We're gonna go with single quotes. Hello world. That's it right there. That's a string. So what a string is, to break it down a little bit more, is it's just a little section of characters. So a string can have anything from numbers, letters, symbols, whatever you want. You can just throw it right in there. There are certain characters you got to watch out for, like you declare a string with single quotes. If you put single quotes in there, it's going to throw a fit. If you do double quotes, the same thing. Doesn't like it. So if you do stuff like that, like let's say in this hello world, we put a quote right there. You see it catches on fire. It doesn't have a great time with it. If you do something like that, super easy. You just put a slash. Fixes everything. The world is back to normal. But let's go down the list here. Show you another one here. Hello world 2. Double quotes. So you can see that I'm not a filthy liar. Then we'll do another one here to show you a different syntax, but we're not going to talk about it today. Called backticks. Backticks are a kind of string, but they're called a template literal. There we go. And they just have a little bit more functionality, but we're going to ignore this. Don't believe it exists, but if you see it, it's more or less a string. All right. So the first thing we're going to go over is, like I said, a string is a container of characters. If you've ever learned anything like C, Java, any of those lower level languages, you'll notice that strings are declared kind of like a piece of array of characters. Remember, a character is just a single. It's just this H, or it's that E, or that L, or that L, or that O, or even this blank space right here. That exists. But an easy way to show this and understand what I mean, we're going to use an array function here. Use hello world. Make sure I'm doing that right. I am. I won't look silly on camera. But what this is going to do right here, type down in here my fancy node. It'll log out every single character in this as though it was an array. So that's just an easy way to show you if you're like, what exactly is a string? It's just an array of characters, but typing out an array of characters would drive you insane. Let's comment that out so it doesn't run again. And I'll show you array syntax on it. Well, we got a console log it. So let's say we wanted to go into hello world 2 and we wanted to get the third element. We would put a 2 in there, because remember, array start at 0. Go in here, hit this, make some magic, L. So we go in hello world 2, 0, 1, 2, L. It's like magic. Comment that bad boy out. And we're going to go down here and we're going to talk about adding strings together. So I'm just going to delete this right here just to make this easy so we don't have to type out a million things. What we're going to do right here is hello world plus hello world 2. We're going to see what happens when we add two strings together. Clear this up, make that look nice. Node index. See right down here, I'm going to highlight it. You might have to zoom in on your screen. Mac has this cool feature. You shake the mouse violently, it glows up. But as you can see there, it squishes the strings together. It doesn't add spaces in for you. It doesn't add anything cool. But luckily, we can do that ourselves. So you go in here, you can add as many strings as you want together. Go in there, add a little blank space, clear up our screen, hit node index. Boom. Maybe hard to see because my terminal is small, but there's now a space right there. Easy peasy stuff. Add a special character in there. So if you've never seen this before and you have an IDE, you'll see it changes a different color. A \n means a new line. So you see there, it put them both on a different line from each other. All right, we're going to talk about adding other things to strings. So let's create a number string 1, and we will make it 1. And then we will make let number 1 equals 1. So these are both the number 1, but one's a string and one's a number. Now, if you've never done programming before, you might be like, what's the difference? It's how it's stored, it's how it's made, it's all of that. So JavaScript will try to add these together. If you use any other languages like C or Java or any of the lower level, it'll yell at you and throw a fit. But in JavaScript, there's a lot of magical methods that do a lot of things for you under the hood that can make things make sense and make things very confusing at the same time. So what we're going to do here is just console.log number string plus number 1. Take a moment, mentally think about exactly what you think is going to happen. And then I'm going to hit the button down here. Who thinks it's going to be 11 and who thinks it's going to be 2? Let's see who's the winner. It's 11. Now for those of you that chose 2, let's talk about why this happened. So JavaScript, when it sees this is a type of number, type of integer, this is a type of string. When it sees these two and we're trying to add them together, it's going to do some work for us. It's going to transform the string. It sees, hey, it's a string. I don't know if this is a number, but it sees this number and says, hey, I know a number can become a string, and it'll turn it into a string. So that's why we get 11. It says, hey, this is a number. I can't add a number to a string. Let's change this number into a string, and boom, adds them together. Now, that's usually consistent on what JavaScript's going to do with that, but the easiest thing you want to do is just control it yourself. Don't put it in the hands of JavaScript of, oh yeah, I think it's going to work like this. Do a type conversion to make sure it does. Perfect example for this, let's choose a more fun number like 4. Go down here, we're going to console log. We're going to parse int. Parse int changes a string or whatever entry you give it into an integer. Integer is a number without a decimal place. We're going to give it the number string. Then we're going to add the number 1 to it. And then down here, we're going to add the number string to the string of number 1. If I could type. There we go. Take your bets. Think about what's going to happen here. Pause the video. Take a break. Take a breather. And let's see what's going to happen. 5 and 14. So as you can see here, if you are expecting it to do something, that's not a good thing to keep in programming. You want to tell the computer exactly what you want it to do. Now, going on from here, we're going to go down here and we're going to just go over some comparisons, and then that'll be the video. So JavaScript has two kinds of comparisons here. These two slashes too that you're seeing, it just means it's a comment line. So there's nothing crazy I'm doing right here. Comments are how you write human words in code. So I can put whatever I want right here. It's not going to care. But we have a double equals and a triple equals. So the double equals will try to convert to the type, while this will have a strict type. So if that doesn't make any sense, or what I said doesn't make a whole lot of sense, what we can do here is 1 double equals 1. And then we have 1 triple equals 1. So this is going to give us a Boolean. It's going to give us, hey, this is either true or false. Let's look at the response here. and see what we get. So we get true and false. So what it's going to do up here is it's going to try to turn this into this type or this into this type. And if they equal each other when they change the type, wicked sick, it works. Down here, it's going to try the same thing without changing the type. So if the type's wrong where this is a number and then this is a string, it's immediately going to say, hey bro, this isn't real, this doesn't work, sorry. So pretty easy there. Everything I've read, everything I've experienced in my journey of learning programming is just use triple equals. If you're having a problem with it, change the type, figure it out before it gets to this point so you don't have weird bugs later on. Alright, now I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned and I always forget every single time, and it's just something nice to do. So let's say we have a username of John, but when we get it from the database or wherever it is, it's always lowercase. What we can do is console log the username, get the 0th element, which is the first, so the J, to uppercase, and then add back username.slice from the first element. So slice, if you just give it one argument, whatever the argument is of that, just like one number, is where it's going to start the array and finish it off. Remember I said strings are like arrays. So I'm telling it, hey, the second letter, start it over again. So it's going to capitalize the first letter, make everything look nice. I know this is just in a console, but that's how you learn a lot of programming. You do this. Oh boy, my spelling is mint. Right there, John. But a lot of programming you learn is in the console because it's just easier to explain it this way. But as you build up your foundations, hey, you'll start making your own projects and doing great things in this world. But that's the end of this tutorial. You know, if you liked the video, if you thought it was a good amount of information, please feel free to hit that like button, hit the subscribe to see more content from me, and check out my website at goodeveningtech.com. Leave a comment below if you have any suggestions or anything cool I can do, and have a great night.